a follow-up on the previous video I did about child developmental phases or child developmental stages from baby to adulthood. The first video I made was on trust and versus mistrust. Now this is the second one. This is a follow-up, which is on autonomy versus shame and doubt. And it's seen between the ages of 1 to 3 years old. So children begin to assert independence while making choices or while learning new skills. When this is successful, you build up children's confidence, their self-awareness, and this is also where social skills begin to develop. And the children also build up a healthy autonomy. That's when they're supported. When the children are supported, when the children are guided properly, this is what they develop. But if it is not a successful stage, I'll explain this later. If it's not a successful stage, what I mean by when the stage is successful and when the stage is not successful. If it's not a successful stage, this means that the children are overly restricted in making their choices. They are criticized often, or they're not given opportunities to make decisions. For example, when it's time for them to put on their clothes, if you guide them properly and they're able to make autonomous decisions about wearing clothes, their self-confidence is built, their self-awareness is improved, they have good social skills, they have healthy autonomy. Yeah. But when it's overly restricted, or when they're criticized, oh, you didn't put this well, or no, drop that, take this, drop that, take this, they're not given opportunities to make decisions. Shame, comes to them. They doubt, their next move, they doubt themselves, they're insecure about their abilities. And their favorable words, my guess is as good as yours. The favorable words at this stage are the words no, mine. So, for example, with everyday life example or experiences, like I said earlier on, dressing up a toddler, when guided properly, you develop their abilities to exhibit healthy autonomy. And of course, as the caregiver, as the parent, you are wise. You can make all the possible combinations available to these kids so that they can make, to seem as if they are the ones making the choice. So that is where you as a caregiver comes in. You make all the available all the possible choices available. You spread them out, and that's why they say that is what is referred to as intentional parenting. So when there's possible choices are available and they choose themselves, they're encouraged to want to do so again the next time. But when it's negative or when it's unsuccessful, like I said earlier on, they're hesitant to try again, they're shameful and they may not want to make decisions. And you may see some of these things. You don't want to have a child grow up in shame or in doubt. And when they're teenagers or adults and they're doubting themselves, it can be quite, I don't want to use the word dangerous, but it can bring about severe circumstances. For example, that may be the child that wouldn't want to try out new things outside academics, like maybe, there's a math competition somewhere, there's a dancing skill somewhere, and they may not want to try because they're doubting, because of self-doubt. So you want to raise up a child that you have given the guide and ability to be able to choose for themselves, and be successful. And of course, when you bring out, like I said earlier on, all the possible choices for them that will match, that will be good, and they choose themselves, You are also guiding them in style and styling. But the thing is that you're limited by what you know. Okay, and that's why I'm here to work with parents, bring up self-confident children. All right, so some criticisms of this. Sometimes there are some cases where it doesn't follow in this way. For example, there are some words that my children really didn't use during this phase, and it's because I was intentional about some things, you know. How many of you parents witnessed this no, 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 no from their children? Do you remember? Hello. Hi, Chris McDonald, and hi, Yazani. Welcome to the live. All right, so that's it for this video. It's supposed to be just short and brief. Second stage, child developmental, autonomy versus shame and doubt. So guide your children to make guide your children in making choices. You build their self-confidence and try to tone down on criticisms, tone down on restricting them in making choices, because it's affecting them despite the fact that they're 1 year, 2 years, 3 years old. You are affecting their childhood. You're affecting their development either in a positive way or a negative way. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you again shortly soon.